welcome to NUFC Talk. And this week we actually have some football to talk about, Jan.
It's back, mate.
It is back. We went to the game. We can give you some experiences from peasant seats where I was at. And Yanis, or is it Lord Yanis now or Sir Yanis? I'm not sure about the curtsy and bow because you were in the posh seats, mate.
I was in the one of the boxes.
So have you changed all your social media handles? Are you like Lord Yanis?
One doesn't change quite yet, Glenn. I was in there. It was through somebody I used to work with. She's a client of somebody that runs a box. So they wined and dined her, but there was anybody that she could really take from her work that would care, and she let me podcast about it, so you should come along. So that was
nice.
Great.
So does beer in a box taste better than? Which got tastes better than them pints that you get served in the ground?
It's a bit. I've never done it before. It was a good experience, but I think I had a couple of bottles of Madry, and then I was just, let's get in the car. Come on.
Yeah.
Still, do you know what the strangest thing was?
It was like bottles of fizz that would just pour.
I was a lot of fizz in that eye.
Feed your grapes as well while you're watching the game.
You had to feed yourself. I was furious. But now, it was like free house drinks, so prosecco and wine and all that sort of stuff. But I was on the pints. But the strangest thing about it was,
carry on the game.
No, I actually kind of I watched it back and I was like, oh, why that happened, didn't it?
Yeah.
You head out, so obviously dead early. It starts at 12:30. So I got the 12 train from Crammy, and it was absolutely rammed. And the most bizarre thing was because you're not allowed to wear there's no Newcastle shirts.
Yeah. You have to go and buy a shirt when you got to town or something.
No,
it
was just, we had I was in chinos and shoes and a polo shirt, and then I was on the train, and everyone's just passing cans round, and and I'm like, oh, this is strange. I should be doing that, not. So it did feel a bit. I was kind of doing football the wrong way, really, but it was good though. It was really good. I did enjoy it. And then he just had a few beers. Were well looked after by somebody who just keeps coming through with more beer.
Brilliant. Well, we're obviously going to talk about our different experiences for match day. So before we get into that, let's quickly jump on our social medias. NUFC Talk Pod. You will find us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok.
Yeah.
You find us on there. If you want to get us individually, I'm Glenn_NUFC.
And I'm at Yanis NUFC.
Not Lord Yanis yet.
No, yeah, I'll change that handle soon.
Yeah, we'll get the blue tick.
Well, I might get an invite back. You never know.
You never know. But yeah, thank you very much for everyone who's subscribed so far. Especially if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you're giving us a like, a tick, press the little bell button so you get notifications when it comes through. If you've been getting us on Spotify, we've been staying in the top 5 of all podcasts related to NUFC and Newcastle as well, which is pretty cool. So we do appreciate every single person. And because I was saddened and have nothing else to do, I was counting. Actually, I've got loads to do, so if wife ever listened to this, she'd be like, what do you mean you got nothing to do? 20 countries we've been listening to now. So
that's mad, isn't it?
20 countries around the world. Cheers for listening. And let's get into the game day experience, mate. So the trains, that was the first thing I spotted was bizarre about the opening day of the season. The trains were rammed. It was absolutely mental because you got the 12 train and I got the 1 o'clock one because my parenting duties weren't relieved as early as you. But yeah, even though we were still selling the same number of tickets, it still felt like there was just more people buzzing around the stadium. And what it was,
I reckon people are excited to go and enjoy the day, and obviously weather was good and all that sort of stuff, which always helps, I reckon. But I just think the buzz of it all, it's obviously first game of the season, so everyone's going to pile into town and make a day of it.
Yeah.
So I think there's that. What I do find it quite bizarre that they don't put an extra carriage on. Just honestly, it was like Mumbai at one point. How people were hanging at the sides of the train. It was also they did genuinely turn away 4 or 5 people, and one woman had booked a ticket. And I booked one when I got there, when I saw, because just in case they're like, anyone got a ticket? I'd be like, I've got one. So I did book, but it was mad. But yeah, I think the whole time was Stephen Norwich. Forest fans were in one of the bars straight across the train station when I landed, and they were lively.
O'Neill's?
That might be I.
One used to be called the Comet or something? Straight across?
Yeah, straight across, yeah. So they were in there. all piled outside, all lively.
Support a few of them. They all in good spirit. Obviously, being back in the Prem for the first time in 23 years.
There's been a lot of positivity, I think, between the two sets of fans on social media and stuff. Everyone, like, not Forest fans seem to say that Newcastle have been the best kind of home fans, and a lot of people say that we've been the best away fans. Couldn't really hear them from inside the box like this. But yeah, I think it was, so that kind of set the tone, I think, and it was just generally a good day, right? And like,
so in the ground, so you were in the box with being waited on, being fed grapes. I was supposed to meet my pal who sells cars, and he works from home. So if anyone came in for a car, he had to like send off like the contracts, and he could do it from home. So he was heading. He got the town before me, had a beer, then got a phone call saying someone's there to buy a car. So he had to go back home. So I got to town and spent the day by myself. I was that guy that was just walking around talking to strangers. So yeah, who goes and buys a car on opening day of the season at 1:30? Madness.
I know. That's what the listeners would do, just dragging around there.
Yeah, so unlucky dicky lad. War flags display, mate.
Yeah, it's quality. Yeah, I thought the display was class.
Brilliant.
Music went along with it as well.
Yeah, I never thought it'd be. I think Newcastle would be running out a new dawn, new day.
Yeah, it's feeling good, I think, by the Newcastle one.
Yeah.
But I was banging that. I actually still remember that bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was class. I think like the whole atmosphere pre-kickoff was obviously was jumping.
Even in the terrace bar, in the ground, they had the Fulham Liverpool game on. So naturally everyone was cheering for Fulham, and then when Mitrovic scored the pen, the DJ put on Mitro's on fire, so like everyone just started dancing and singing along. Like, this is class, man. I
do love the fact that the impenetrable world class never gets dribbled past Van Dijk gives me a pen with a guy with like knee dribbling ability whatsoever, Mitro.
They just Fulham's social media. I shared some of their stuff over the past couple of days. Their social media manager has been on fire. Whoever does their accounts, because Klopp complaining about the pitch being dry.
Oh, I saw that one.
So Fulham shared a picture the next day of the sprinklers on, saying Craven Cottage looking fantastic.
Somebody started a thread. I saw, I think, already with three elements of Klopp moaning already. He's like, this thread's basically going to be every time Klopp moans this season, I'm just going to add to this thread. I reckon there'll be 50 times, because they play a lot of games, but he absolutely loves a moan, like.
Yeah.
But it was generally good. So to be fair, I was kind of gutted, like, because obviously I've got Trent and that's my dream team. So
I'm waiting for Klopp to be pushing for 11 subs next season.
Yeah. But nothing Man City though. They're not that
good. No. Talking about starting 11, should we?
Yeah, mate. Let's get into the game, man.
Get into the game. We started off, and to be fair, I don't think many fans would have called the starting 11. If you did, like, drop us a comment and let us know. So they started off with Pope and Sticks.
Well, we called that back five because we said
no.
You and I a bit spoke, and we'd said the fact that
we did talk about it, and I'd love to say we called it. But
I think I called you. Damn it!
We talked about the units playing together, and our joke was surely he's not going to start the cells.
Yeah,
but we never. I can't remember us joking.
We talked about the fact that at least we asked the question: Have we just seen the back four play in terms of keeping one unit together? It didn't make sense to play Botman out with that unit and then bring him in for match day. Although I don't think we actually said they're going to start.
Clutching straws.
I wasn't surprised to see that though at all. Like, just because the way they lined up at Atlanta.
Wait. Okay. So back.
That wasn't it. Atlanta, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the fullbacks, Bilbao was Dummett and
Kraft.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So we actually did watch the back four, and I bet there wasn't many people knew it.
Yeah.
So we had Trippier, Shah, Byrne, and Target back four. Middle three of Bruno, Joe Willock, which we did call, and Big Joe. Then top three, I think everyone would have picked them three: Miggy, Wilson, and ASM. And then Maxi was looking lively, wasn't he?
Yeah, I thought he had a really good start of the game. I thought he the two goals he was involved in some degree in the two goals. But, but I think from sort of start to finish, he's got so much more his head is so much more up. It's unbelievable. He just he's happy now to
pass.
I know I'm going to jump ahead, but the first goal, what he 2 seasons ago would have cut inside himself and tried to score instead of sliding Big Joe in across the ball. Sorry, second goal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought he was lively. I thought first half was a really dominant. In fact, you know what it looked like? It really looked to me like a top 8 side versus like a bottom 3 side.
Yeah.
That's how it actually felt. And I'm not saying we are definitely going to be top 8, and we'll certainly not
top
have many.
6.
We'll certainly not have many easier games, I don't think, than that at St James's this season.
Yeah, because Forest bedded in 6 new players. I think they've got about another 7 to go. So yeah, it's going to be. I think we had the right game to play Forest on before they got a bit of momentum.
But at the same time, though, they'd have probably thought, well, if you're going to go to St James's with all the buzz that's going around there, you don't want the new centre halves in. You don't want them up and running and getting on one of those runs. Maybe getting them in the early in the season, could you catch them cold? Maybe, but we look so sharp.
Yeah, I can't remember watching a Newcastle game where I felt so calm when we had the ball or when we were getting. Because they only really had one chance, which came after the Shargo, which was that Surridge had a half attempt with a.
That was a chance, to be fair. Like, he headed it in the ground. That was a chance.
Well, I know we're jumping ahead, but I felt pretty calm the whole time watching us play. Which, God, it's been a long time since you felt we were comfortable at the back.
There was that one little run. Lingard made across the box and he got slid in, and Shaw made a brilliant block.
Yeah,
that was the first half, I think.
That was yeah.
Midway through the first half, or like 40 minutes, maybe something like that. But the first thing that really happened was early doors. The first couple of minutes, ASM danced around a few people, laid it off to Willock, who was deflected wide, and that was it. This was seemed to be sort of jumping from there. Like
that was it. Yeah, Maxi set the tone. Then Big Joe had a couple of dinks. One from about 25 yards out, which was just good to see he had that confidence. And then the second one, which I was sat behind the goal, and he got inside the 18-yard box and he just dragged it just a little bit too far. Like that would have been the dream. Yeah, we did so well, and it just shows you how comfortable he is now. And maybe that's something he's been working on, because that was almost like one thing Joe lacked was he was the battling midfielder last season, wasn't he? If he can learn to carry the ball as well, like
that was brilliant. That one, because he took like 2 or 3 people out of the game, didn't he? He is for somebody who bought for as a striker. He is like woeful in front of goal when he's got time to think about it. You know, when it pops off to him, like his first goal against like Spurs, just came in 1-touch hit, or that season where it was like head out the back stake and then tap in. Like you'll do that sort of stuff, but when he's got time to think, he's just like, whoa. Because he did all that. It was like absolutely brilliant. Like it was magic. And then he just drags his shot hopefully. What was he wearing? But he had a brilliant game. Like he was absolutely awesome. Like.
In all midfield, so let's bring Willock into it, because he looked lively. He was niggling around. He just had bags and bags of energy, which we mentioned last week on the pod. That's obviously why you got the shout, and that's what Eddie Howe's wanting to get from his midfielders, that hustle, that bustle, the press. Like the press was really tight. Like Forest still attempted to play out for the back for the whole game, and it just wasn't working. I thought they might have changed that a little bit, but yeah, the press was on point.
Well, I don't think you can change it much when you've got Dan Burn and Shaw. Like Dan Burn especially is really dominant in terms of like if they're not playing out from the back, if they're going to go long.
Right, sorry, yeah.
It's just going to come back again, isn't it? So I think the midfield 3 were brilliant. I think Joe Willock was class throughout. I think with the 5 subs, Willock can like run himself on the ground in 70 minutes, like 80 minutes. Like, you know, he's so busy in the pitch. Like you know, if he's going to start, then
just run, shout over when you can't run.
Just give Eddie Howe like 75 minutes of absolute effort, like because he does cover some ground. Like he really does. Like
he's come on so much over that, especially pretty much just under Eddie Howe. How much he's come on has been incredible. So he was one of the players I was most impressed with in terms of his level of performance, where I kind of don't think I was expecting him to get that high early on the season. And then can we talk about Bruno?
Yeah, well, yes, dude.
Bruno, like, unreal.
He's meant to be, like.
He looks like you're playing a computer game on cheat mode.
I know.
Where he was flicking it over people's heads, like he was seeing passes. Like the fellow I was sat next to, he was very knowledgeable about the game and an older gentleman, and even he was saying we were both chatting about how he could see passes, which we haven't seen a Newcastle midfielder see them passes and have them touches. And I think Match of the Day mentioned it as well, where you could see him, he was looking, just that quick glance, he knew where he wanted the ball to be.
Swivel, isn't he?
Yeah, phenomenal.
He sees the game so far ahead, like, of what other people do. I think it was three times he put Alma on through.
Yeah.
And there was one of them was a 1-2, but two of them were just like the crowd's going to shoot, and then they see this little side.
Like, nah, you haven't seen this.
That was the one that I think that was the end of the first half where it was actually pushed onto the post, wasn't it? I think Henderson actually pushed it onto the post. I think I rewatched it a few times. And when Miggy comes in and he tries to pull it across.
Bruno passing Miggy 40.
So I think it actually goes onto the post, doesn't it? But that's the pass of the day. I think that one, like, that's an absolute belt of that, like, the weight of, I know that, like Shia mentioned it, was like the weight of pass. To find that split like 4 or 5 players and for Alma to not break stride.
If they'd scored, that's on par with what De Bruyne did for Haaland on Sunday.
Well, De Bruyne is like you hit space. That's easy. That, like, De Bruyne is amazing, but that's not a difficult pass. The Bruno pass is a harder pass. It goes through the 9 players or something. Like,
if that's Man City, like, that's getting talked about like day and night.
He's been mentioned a lot already on TalkSport. The world's already very quickly noticed how good he is. Like, he'll be up there with, like, team of the year sort of standard, I think, by the end of the season. Like he'll be right. He'll be in that conversation. Like, that's the level. I think he's like top 4. Like I've said it before, however high Newcastle get in the next 7-8 years, he will be there as well. Like, because it's not going to outgrow him.
Well, if you think about the teams, I think we've discussed this over the summer at one point. What team would you not walk into? Man United, they love a Bruno in the middle. Sorry, I was on top 4, not top 10. So if we go like City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal, like, can you imagine him not walking in any of them teams? Like,
I think he starts in every maybe Man City, only because, like, how they set up slightly different.
Yeah, plus they just buy players for 1,500 million just to warm the bench anyway, don't they?
They've got some talent. That's the only one, but
Liverpool.
Well, you take Henderson straight out of the side and put Bruno straight in front of him. I'm a big Henderson fan.
Yeah. So Man City would be the only one you'd argue, but with the Pep Roulette, you'd still start 20 games easy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But anyway, we won't talk about Bruno playing for the team, so sorry about that.
But yeah, I think he was sensational. You get so many plaudits, but the whole midfield three, as you mentioned before, was absolutely quality. In fact, like, it was generally, like, the whole side was like, spot on.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see Craig Hope, who's the Daily Mail football writer for, like, North East?
Yeah.
He rated. Did you see what he rated player ratings for Bruno?
No.
Give him a 7.
7.
A 7. I was like, it was 7.
There was a one for 90 minutes. You know, the footy. I don't know if it's a magazine anymore or just a website.
Aye.
And they'd rated players like 5, 6, and 7. I think you give someone an 8. I was like, is he watching it? I shared it on Twitter. Like, is he watching another fucking game or what? Like, I
couldn't believe it. Mate. I was like, a 7. And then, because there was a few people being like, come on, like, that a 7's too low and all that. And he was like, he said something like, don't be, don't be sort of tricked by the tricks and the flicks on the halfway line. He's been way more penetrative. And I was like, he's been more penetrative when he's been further forward, but without Shelby, he plays a deeper role, so how can he be more penetrative? Like, what, you want to play an 8 and a 6 at the same time? Playing fucking... I was only the maths there. Yeah. But it's like, he absolutely run the show, controls the game, also puts 3 lovely balls through. He gave a ball away once, I think. Once.
And one thing which is one of the things which sometimes goes unnoticed is the interceptions, breaking up play. Him, Joe Linton and Trippier. You'd expect it from Trippier, but Bruno will to learn that that's his standard.
Yeah.
Joe Linton, and like that's the difference. You actually have players that can read the game.
Well, Joe,
it used to be so frustrating. You watch the game and you can see where the next pass is going.
Aye.
As people like just sit and drink beer and talk about football on a Monday night, and in a garden bar.
And you're like, inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then we'd have so many players that just couldn't see where the next pass was going. We had players that were like interception and cutting off. It was a dream to see.
It's the difference between having the players that are very two-dimensional, play the game what's totally in front of them, where someone like Bruno is like a 360 player. He sees the whole pitch all the time. He's on Joe Linton, I've got his stats here. So he had 73 touches, 100% accurate crosses, 100% long balls, 100% tackles won, 91% passing accuracy, 80% successful dribbles, 8 ground. I like how much has duels become a thing all of a sudden? Duels, yeah. 8 ground duels won, 5 recoveries of the ball, 3 chances created, and 1 assist. Solid, like, versus Geelings.
Geelings, the player that we were all good we didn't sign.
For 250 grand a week. He won 0 of his 7 duels, probably versus Joe Linton. He won. He had 0 of his 1 successful dribbles, so then probably against Joe Linton, and he had 0 successful tackles, probably against Joe Linton.
At least he's consistent.
It was a tough game for him. Like it must be a nightmare to play against that midfield. Like I mean, not unless you're City, where you can just totally dominate the ball, unless like you're Liverpool.
Yeah.
After that kind of echelon, it must be pretty difficult to play against that Newcastle midfield 3. Like.
Yeah, you're right. One thing I'll say about Forest fans, I did see 2 of them walking through City with Geelings on the back. Like not even Lingard. Like Geelings. Yeah. So apart from them Forest fans, everyone else got a pass through good.
Yeah, I mean, no, none of that for me.
Let's go into the second half. Willock had a good attempt from both the penalty spot area. Maybe would have took that away after a couple of games under his belt. I thought that was a decent attempt.
Can I point on that one? That was the one that was that the one that Henderson pushed to the side?
No,
that popped up. Or was that Joe Linton's?
The Willock one, he gathered it.
There was one of them that bounced up a little bit. He pushed aside. Tell you something. I think I'm not saying dodged a bullet. I think he's a good keeper, but that's all he is a good keeper. Do you know? I've seen him today.
Especially the comments he come out and said. Did you hear what we
No.
So midweek, so before the game started or the season started, sorry, he's come out on, I don't know if it was like a Sky interview or a Forest TV or whatever it's called, saying that he was criminal. He's just spent a year rotten at Man United on the bench when he got told he was going to get game time. He turned down loans because he was going to get game time. And I'm at the peak of my career, and he actually said it's criminal that I've been left to sit on the bench. So he's already put himself up there to be shot at. Like, to come out and say that, like, you don't need to say that. Just go and perform anyway.
But at the same time, how much do like football fans want people to stop peddling out the same media trained bullshit of like, yeah, we worked really hard, we played really well. It's not, I scored a hat trick. It's not about me, it's about the team. No, give us some personality. Tell us what you feel. And he feels that he was told that he was going to get game time by Ollie, and he got sat on the bench because it was a bit of a toss up between him and De Gea at one point, because De Gea was shaky for a couple of seasons, wasn't he? Then turns out De Gea actually is a really good goalkeeper.
He's such a shit defence.
He's got
and midfield.
Whoa, McFred, come on.
Oh, McFred. Sort out.
But yeah, so I don't know. I do agree with he's putting himself in a point where like you're already adding a line to yourself.
I agree with you. That's one thing which was refreshing watching the women's football. Like, you can see they haven't been
media trained at the same level. Yeah,
like that's taken nothing away from, like, but it was just fresh and seeing raw emotion, having conversations, telling how they feel. So I'm all for that, and I like the fact he has come out and said that. I was thinking, boy, you just put a cross on your back there, mate. Like, you give yourself a standard to go for. So I hope like more players do come out and say what they feel. And I was just more leading towards like the fact, like, fucking hell, kid, like, as a goalkeeper, you normally only get pointed out for your mistakes and
or the odd worldie you do. And he wasn't shite by any stretch. I don't think the goals his fault or anything like that. I don't think the first goal's his fault. Like, just you can't legislate for someone smashing in the top bin, but I just think even the saves he did make, they were a bit like untidy. I think some of them were, I thought he could hold, like the one that he pushed. He was lucky that the Miggy one that he pushed up the post. I mean,
the first half, I thought he was getting some stick from the Gallagher. Yeah,
was he?
Every time when he first came out, because we switched halves. So when they came out to warm up, they switched before kick off. So as he came down towards the Gallagher, he was getting like booed every time he touched the ball. He was getting like some absolute shit. Like so, not the place you want to come for.
But for 25 million, we're plus 15 million for Nick Pope, who was like solid as a rock, wasn't he?
100%. So after the Willock shot, there was the Maxi chance, which gave us the corner for the goal.
Yeah.
Question is,
I think it's harsh. I think it's harsh when people give him shit like.
Should you have pulled that back to Wilson, who had an open net?
I think it's harsh.
I don't think it'd be harsh on him for missing that attempt because he was getting closed down by a keeper and a centre half and the defender. But Wilson's literally stood there like.
I think it's coming to him quickly. I think it's coming to him quickly. It's coming to him quickly. He's.
Boy,
the Mickey one. The Mickey one, I think is probably given a little bit more shit for it because he's running onto it. He sees everything. I think when Maxi comes to him very quickly, I think it's harsh. But I would say that because I'm always bad. I'll never have anything bad to get against Maxi.
I'm pro Maxi, but I think that one he probably should have pulled it back.
You reckon?
Yeah. But if he did, we would never seen
Big Fabienne. The new dream board.
That's it. Smashing it in from 25 yards out the top bin. That's one thing I'll say for Henderson. Like you're right, you can't stop them.
Yeah, near post or not, like that's just absolutely so wrong. Yeah. That like.
So that opened things up, and at that point there.
Yeah, I see again that is the end product that's starting to come from St Maximum. He's involved in that again. Like it's his little shimmy at the box. He puts a cross in that ends up being like it's cleared to Shah. I think you're starting to see stuff from him that I think he's going to be involved in. Of course he can. He's involved in both goals. So
because he crosses the ball which is headed out, you give Maxi credit.
I think you have to. Of course because if that's Miggy, I don't think he turns. I think it's knocked back off and then ball gets recycled. There'll be a 20 goals a season that he'll be involved with to some degree because that's the kind of player he is like.
Oh man, I agree. Like Maxi's going to be a way better player after being coached by Eddie Howe. But that one I think.
I'll definitely give the next one.
You're clutching the straws of that one, saying he's cleared cross.
Do you not think he's involved in that? Like it's his cross.
But he didn't hit his man, or our man.
Still his cross. I expect
from 25
yards. I expected an assist on the FPL for that. I was furious. I thought you had bonus points.
We don't talk FPL this week, okay? And then we mentioned the Surridge header. Miggy had another chance.
That's the 1-2 with Bruno. That's the one. That's the little 1-2 in it. I think that's more where he should square that because he sees the whole picture coming to him. He's running onto it. He should score really, shouldn't he?
And then minute 78, the Wilson goal, which was Maxi, which we can give him credit for. Maxi put Joe Linton through, pulled it back, but the big thing is Wilson's finish.
Oh, sublime.
There's not many strikers that score on that.
No,
at all.
Maxi would have but no, he'd try to dribble. Yeah. His comments afterwards when he's on about being sort of
want to score the World Cup.
Yeah, it's his first fit pre-season in like donkey's years.
And there's been loads of fans who are not Newcastle fans giving him shit saying, calm down, you scored one goal against Forest, you're saying you want to go to the World Cup.
Who else is going to take? I don't understand this.
But then there's loads of pundits when I was driving to the office today. They talking on the breakfast show when I came back, even on the drive time, and they both came up in conversation. Like Wilson, if he stays fit, like it'd be criminal for him not to be going on the flight.
We were talking in the press box on the when I was coming back from football before. That Sean Custis was talking about it and saying the same thing.
Yeah,
he can stay fit, and they made an interesting point actually. There they said. Obviously, there's the excitement about Newcastle and what's going on and everything else, but also has he got the cusp of his career where he's realised like he's only got maybe 2 or 3 really good years left in him. Like
he hasn't got another World Cup.
He needs to commit this. Oh, he's no danger, absolutely no chance.
He'll be turning 30 this season, so the next World Cup will be in 4 years, which will be a summer one, you'd say. So Wilson will be 34.
Yeah,
you don't see many 34-year-old strikers going to World Cups.
No, there'll be a little more talent coming through there by then. But yeah, so I think. And I can't honest. I mean, I think he's better than Danny Ings. Although I think Danny Ings is a good finisher. Ollie Watkins couldn't get a game in front of Danny Ings this weekend.
Aye. And he's shite.
And he runs the channels. He runs the channels. Fucking great running channels. Aye, awesome. And then after that, Bamford. I don't think he's a flash in the pan.
He's more injury prone than
Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
They're both more injury prone than Wilson.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin stubbed his toe. He's been out for about 4 years. Did he though? How long was he out for a freaking stub toe or something? It's like freaking Pistoni.
So,
Pistoni.
just about. So yeah, there'd be Abraham. So Kane,
Abraham, yeah. I think he's probably in there.
Wilson. You think maybe Sterling might get the shout playing in the centre because Southgate's a huge fan for him. But I'd say he's third in line. If he has a good run, he'd be second.
Yeah, and you also offer something probably that the other ones don't. He's got probably a bit more pace than maybe. I think he's if you were to roll Dominic Calvert-Lewin, probably not the aerial threat of him, but his hold up play is really good. The finishing of Danny Ings and also the pace to run the channels of he offers you everything that those three do, except probably he can hump it in the box a bit more with Calvert-Lewin. But that's pretty much.
That's not really like England style, though, is it?
Nah, it's just like defend more.
That's it, yeah.
Wilson, get rid of it.
What you like a centre half?
Yeah. Oh, you're right back. Yes or no?
We need more full backs.
But yeah, so his comment, he's never been one to look like he's lacking in confidence. Like he's absolutely hammering Antonio on that podcast. Did you see that?
No.
I only saw a clip of it, like, and he's basically, before the season started, he was like saying like, I'll score more goals than you, and Antonio was saying, well, he said something like, well, I got more points than you last season. Like, I wasn't fit. He's like, well, I still score more points than you, still score more goals, and then but he's like, if we're both fit all season, I'll score more goals than you. And I thought, it's fucking rich coming from Antonio to about fitness. He's got hamstrings that are fucking glass. Like, so
to be fair, he played. I didn't know he played freaking every minute that was possible for West Ham.
I know, 58 games, wheeling it back out. Anyway, but yeah, he's finished. But it's absolute class.
Yeah,
it's cool. He means it as well, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, definitely, 100%.
He actually flicks it out to try and
100%. I've got some stats to end off before we move on. So we've got 62% possession, which is great to see.
Wow.
23 shots for Newcastle. Which we struggle to think back to a Newcastle team which did that. Yeah, and fair enough, it was Forest, so we're not going to get too ahead of ourselves, but it was just promising to see a team that's obviously had a game plan, stuck to it, and executed it really well.
But look, if you look at a couple of seasons ago, like Norwich and that, absolutely battered us when they came up. Like, we've been turned over by many teams because they're a team that 2 years ago would have had more of the ball than us because they like the ball, they play from the back, and so.
That's what I was saying to you last week on the pod. Like, we should be going in and beating these teams. So the performance we had as Newcastle fans, we were hoping for that.
Yeah.
But there's just that Newcastle feel that's been beaten into us for years. Where if that was another manager or Newcastle of the past however many years, if Forest came and got a victory, like a bit shitty, but we could kind of see it's coming because it's Newcastle. So it was great.
I actually think we'll get onto this, but next week this is a big test. This it's even dominant the ball against Brighton.
We'll mention
that'll be a test. But I think overall, dominant. Like I said before, we look like a top 8 side playing a side that are a class below us. That's what it felt like. It looked like the whole game.
Yeah, no, it was good to see that.
And then obviously just probably shouts to be the back four that were just solid,
solid the whole time. I'll watch some shouts. We put a tweet out to find out what people's man of the match was. Because speaking to people on game day, there was a few thoughts there. The Premier League had Trippier down as
I find it bizarre,
man of the match.
He's still playing the ball, but other than that, I think he's solid.
Solid 7 out of 10. So on Twitter we had some of our followers. Thanks again for following us. NUFC Talk Pod.
Yeah.
So for Bruno we had Linda Bullows. We had Toonami Sweden, James Matthewson, Magpie 24/7, and friend of the pod Ronnie. You guys all voted for Bruno. There was some honorary mentions for Maxi and Joe Linton, and then Liv33 also said Bruno and Dan Byrne.
Dan Byrne was rock solid, he was absolutely solid,
But no one's mentioning Shah, who got the most points in FPL.
No.
So who's your man of the match?
Bruno.
Yeah,
Bruno. J7 class. I thought Linton was class. I'm going to call him J7 for the rest of the season, so I'm just going to do that. Forget Geolings.
Cristiano CR7 doesn't exist. He's just
Who was the original? R9?
R9, yeah.
Must be an R9, wasn't it? He's got the Nike R9s, didn't he?
CR7 he's just a bench warmer now, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think.
Do you think you'll ever be honest? Do you think you'll ever get bored of watching Man United in fucking turmoil?
Nah, and I tell you what, I said this on. I replied to somebody on Twitter. Somebody said like I'll never get bored of seeing them be shite, and my comment was, the highlight of it is watching Bruno sky chances. Watching Bruno Fernandes put chances at 10 yards out over the bar. Mm-hmm. It's fucking glorious. I love it. Oh, well, yeah. Side note: drop Bruno Fernandes. He's done nothing for 2 seasons. Play Eriksen way, play Bruno Fernandes, and play a striker, and you probably play better. He's done nothing, Bruno. He's shit off the ball as well.
At work, I was talking to Man United. I know we're going a bit off topic here, but it's our pod, so we can. I was talking to Man United fan today, and we were chatting about the defence, and we both came to like the subject of the midfield together, and I said it's hard because I know Maguire gets loads of stick, but when you've got like 3 and 4 players like just blitzing through the midfield, it's hard to follow every man when your fullbacks are fucking all out of the shop. Fred McTominay don't do anything. Like you can't expect Maguire and whoever he's rotating centre half partners to follow all 4 runners that are just blitzing in the box. Like
it's mad how little the goal runners like. It is actually. It's not to see the fact that they're just still not. It's still not happening. Like it's still like it's
glorious, isn't it? It's fucking glorious.
3-4 managers later, it's mad. It's still a thing. And I don't care. Man United fans still hate him, and they still think he was the issue. Mourinho has been the best they've had since Ferguson by a country mile. It's
class.
And the fact McFred will start, I fucking love it. I really love it. It's class.
Anyway, we'll go on.
Anyway, aye. Oh no, solid.
Maybe that could be like a little like 2-minute feature every week. Well, Man United like just
unless it start getting good.
Yeah, then we'll just delete the pods. Financial fair play.
Yeah.
So if anyone hasn't, there's a really good Twitter account called the Swiss Ramble. Put a huge feed on about the financial fair play, how Newcastle are impacted by it, how it's affecting us in terms of spending, and it went into great detail. I'm not going to pretend to understand everything, but I feel like I had a better understanding from reading that, which was really interesting. The biggest take I took from it, and please add to this, Janice, if there's anything else you spotted, was in the 14 years Mike Ashley ran the club, he never grew the
commercial side of things. Yeah,
commercial side. And if you look at all the other clubs, yes, it's the team is doing really well, but they have so much going on around, and the sponsorship, yada yada yada, the match day, and all the other businesses that they're involved in,
corporate events and all that sort of stuff they do. Yeah,
so that gives them way more money coming in through sponsorship, which I know we'll fix over the next couple of years. So yeah, what was your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that was I totally agree. That was the standout thing. If anybody hasn't seen it, like it's probably a good 15 minutes. Like to try and I had to read some of them back like 4 or 5 times to try and understand it. Like
I still didn't understand every single one.
I think there was
some of the spreadsheets were pretty deep.
Automation or something. Is that just like depreciation of football players? Is that the depreciation of the value of players? I couldn't understand what that was. But yeah, my understanding is you have a 3-year cycle. It's always rolling, and every year the next year comes on. The oldest third year drops off, and that 3 years, 110 million. Sorry, 105 million.
You can only lose.
You can run in losses of 105 million.
105.
So our next year, when we move into the next year, I think is it like plus 40 million or something. It will drop off. That will no longer be one of our years, which will adjust heavily what we can spend next year. So you spend big now, you can't spend big. And my biggest takeaway was exactly the same as you. It's commercial. It's incoming revenue. That's a major issue. It's alright having all the money in the world, getting bank loans and all that sort of stuff. But I reckon there'll be if Newcastle were even a sniff towards looking at like that, a thought about breaking FFP, there'd be so much clamour for us to be. Like they'd be like, burn Bruno, like sell J. They'd be carnage. Like it'd be. I think they'd be absolutely after Newcastle. So I think like the sort of they know that, so they just want to be ahead of the curveball.
Barcelona currently can't register 5 players because they're over financial fair play, and they're still trying to bring the Chelsea fullback in.
Reece James?
No, not Reece James. Is it
Alonso.
Alonso?
Mark Alonso. Are they?
Yeah, is it Alonso?
He's Spanish, like, would make sense. But he's like.
Is that how it works? You only buy Spanish players?
No, but I think was he not either Barca or maybe Real Madrid?
Yeah, it just made me laugh. Like there's some sort of.
He's Spanish, so it makes sense.
But yeah, they currently can't register 5 players. They owe Frankie de Jong 17 million in wages. They can't actually sell them.
But he still put one through on a plate for Lewandowski for his opening goal the other day.
Did he?
No.
But they're still trying to buy him. Anyway.
Don't matter with Barcelona. That's always going to be their argument. You owe 400 billion. Aye, but we're Barcelona.
Do you not read the badge? It says Barcelona.
Yeah.
That basically means fuck off.
So I think, like, yeah, for me, like, and that was a main takeaway, is the lack of
we're not Barcelona.
Aye, yeah, we're not Barcelona, so we'll have to abide by the rules. But I think I totally agree. The main takeaway, obviously, the Mike Ashley era and how commercially in the age of the money age of football, which like last 20 years have been, the fact we didn't do anything commercially has meant that we haven't just stayed where we were in a sense. We've fallen a generation of football and generation behind, really.
True. And when you also look at like the position that you finish in, every position's worth like X amount of money, and then playing the Champions Leagues was worth ridiculous amounts. You get a team that finishes top 4 players in the Champions League, you're talking like 100 million plus, which can go straight in the kit your rights off. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah. Even the pre-season tour and that, like spreading our name out, going playing fucking Portugal and that, and playing
what's that, York and Leighton Orient
fucking Birmingham and that. So yeah, that was the main takeaway. It is a really good thread, but sit down, have a coffee beforehand because there's a lot of shit to digest.
Grab a notepad.
But it's brilliant, like.
Yeah. Quick point. Did we mention Shelby yet? Or was that something we talked before?
No, we haven't.
Yeah, so Shelby's just been announced this afternoon.
Sick of that.
Yeah, his hamstring is worse than it was. He's in London. He had an operation on Saturday. Had a second opinion, so we're not going to see him till November, which will just start the World Cup.
Yeah.
So then there'll be a break. So we're not going to see him.
He's not going to make that.
Yeah, he's not going to be pushing for a World Cup spot, unfortunately.
Yeah. Tough, but it's sick now. It's sick now because, on a personal point of view, because I think Shelby looked really sharp and he was looking good in pre-season. He looks in good shape. By all accounts, he's grafted his arse off in pre-season. Maybe he should have done less.
Still in the back end of last year though, like he was a completely transformed player.
Yeah, I think he was kind of undroppable, but also for me, my argument, the whole where do you play Bruno thing is, I think you only get from me like 70% of Bruno. In a game like Notts Forest, he can dominate the ball and he can do what he wants because the level of opposition. But in games like that are going to be more nip and tuck, Brighton, for instance, I like to see Bruno in an 8. Personally, but are you going to do that without Shelby? Probably not. So you're losing Shelby, and also you're losing Bruno now. I think is his best position.
But then this also begs a question now. We've had our first injury before the Premier League kicked off, and yes, we've got a good squad. Yes, there's momentum. Yes, we've strengthened a little bit. We've also mentioned in previous pods, there's still not a great deal of strength. 2 or 3 injuries, and all of a sudden the bench looks really weak, and we've got a decent starting 11. So do we need to try and do some wheeling and dealing? Look to get another 2, 3 players that are pushing over the next couple of weeks?
I think there'll definitely be another addition, at least an addition. At least, I think there'll be at least one, and it may not be the winger or the forward anymore. Like it may be somebody. It's interesting that centre midfield, everyone's been saying, and I totally agree with this, I think it's our strongest area. Until Botman came in, you probably say centre halves now as well. Yeah. But centre midfield, 5 centre midfielders, if you're adding Longstaff into that.
Yeah, of course you got to. So, but you get one injury, you got 4, and that means you only make 1 sub.
So now you're relying on Elliot Anderson playing
There's no rotation, you're going to rest players.
So yeah, it's interesting how
we're getting Jeff Hendrick back.
Yeah.
Okay,
what's Matt you up to?
Yeah.
So I think there's some chat in the nose the ITK accounts have been a bit more chat about on Madison. A bit more life in that.
Rumours are supposed to be putting a third bid in, so we'll see. Look, class if we can. We're not going to pretend to know the financial or everything, but if we can get Madison over the line, I can't see anything negative coming about adding him to the squad at all. Plus, Leicester didn't look great, but he was one of the players that did look sharp. Moving on to Brighton, mate, because we're cracking on here 45. Brighton, so this will be the big test, won't it?
Yeah,
not the big test, but more of a test than Forest. They lined up with a 3-2-4-1 formation, which could be Christmas tree formation, which could be 6 midfielders, however you want to look at that.
Like a 5-2-2-1 or something. I don't even know the maths of that.
Hey, one thing we know with the Brighton Potter side, well drilled.
Yeah.
Which would take the piss out of the formation. They're well drilled. I know they only played at Man United, so it wasn't a big challenge for them. But they did look well drilled, and they looked like they had a game plan. And they've sold players, but the players they brought in were not even brought in because they didn't bet anyone new in. They still looked solid.
Well, they still look, obviously Basuma, but the blooded that Mwepo the season before that. But Casida was like, I think he was already groomed as like the Basuma replacement. Like that's what it seemed to me. And like, is it Casida or something? He looks good, and they're both decent. Them like,
and they brought in Sonny March.
Sonny March. He's stuck in about it.
He filled in for Cucurella. Like,
aye,
madness. So
I know Tarek Lamptey again.
Was he not?
I don't think he played, but maybe he did.
Yeah,
they're a good side, them, Brighton. Like,
their press looked really well. They terrorised Man United. And like, I suppose it's like when people said Newcastle did well when COVID was on and there was no fans around, so we couldn't get on the backs when everyone was shite. Like Man United, I think was it Roy Keane mentioned it, and there's a few podcasts I've listened to who mentioned it. The first 5 or 6 minutes when the fans turned, all the players just lost the bottle and used to be a great place to play for Man United, where now it's a great place to play for the away team because you got 75,000 fans screaming at the home team.
It's class, like. I think this would be a test. It'll be a test of how far we've come. It's all about having 62% possession at home against a newly promoted team with 5 new players, as you mentioned before. Yeah. Can you do it against a team that likes the ball and that will generally dominate the ball? They'll go to Chelsea and have more of the ball. Like there'll only be about 5 or 6 teams they'll play against this season, maybe even less, that'll have more possession than them. Generally, they generally have the ball against most sides. You'd say probably only Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, maybe Spurs. After that, they'll go to like West Ham and Villa, and they'd have Barrett and they'd have more possession than those guys. So,
right.
But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. I think this is a big test. Prediction.
I was going to flick these pens about. I was going to say that I don't think we'll change the starting 11.
No.
That was my first prediction. And then I think
I agree.
Our defence will be more prepared than Man United. And as much as we've got stuck into Man United through the pod, I think we will be. Brighton still don't look like a team that have loads going up front.
Yeah.
I think our centre-halves could look after Danny Welbeck. This could be the kiss of death with all these predictions I'm making here, but I wouldn't say 2-0 to Newcastle. Because last season, though, we should have beat them. If you remember,
like Callum Wilson,
it was 1-1. Hayden scored the 9, and then Wilson went through at the end.
And then we did beat them.
No, we were 1-1.
Oh, we played them twice, Glenn.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I thought you meant just talk about their players. Because this is where Eddie Howe first went into to watch from the stand, didn't he?
What's his name?
Ashworth. He shook his hand then, didn't he?
Aye, but who was the? I never fucking remember his name. The coach that run the Brighton game went to England. We did this on the previous pod. Like
we had two.
We did this the exact same thing. Anyway, hi.
Yeah, we'll move on.
And he played fucking 6 at the back again, didn't he?
Yeah.
But
what are you saying, prediction?
I'd take 2-1, like.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%, yeah. I do think, I agree with you, with Wilson up top, you need a sniff. Wilson really, actually, he was probably the one person that did often really in the game. Not a huge amount in the game. One chance. It's not even a fucking chance. It's like a half chance.
Not many players are scoring that.
Exactly, yeah. Versus like, I know we're laughing at kiss death, as you say, but like Welbeck, he's not clinical. Neil Maupay, never been clinical except in the Championship. So, and then, can as long as Bruno can get the ball still in the six, like that's deeper. As long as he can still get the ball, I think 2-1 Newcastle.
So positives that we're going.
Imagine 6 points of the first 2 games.
God, how long did it take us to get us 6 points?
It's 7 points. I don't know what Eddie Howe took. It was like 15 games in or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, God.
7 games to get our first win.
For all these Newcastle fans, 15 games for the first win, wasn't it?
Oh, it was first 14 games, wasn't it? Yeah, you're right. Aye.
So for all these Newcastle fans that are like tagging in the freaking Newcastle owners saying, who are we going to buy? Give your head a shake. Just look at what we've done over here, man. Night and day.
God, is that like...
Night and day. So, we're both saying Newcastle wins.
Yeah,
2-0, 2-1. Class. And then lastly, we're going to talk about FPL.
Bit FPL chat.
Don't know if you noticed, but I deleted the league today.
What did you finish on?
I think it was like 57 or something.
I thought I only finished at 59.
I know, but then if you look at Shah Wars, funny enough, John Shewer, 96 points was number 1.
I saw that. Like.
Yeah, we're only about 50 places down, mate. So if you joined the FPL League, by the way, thank you so much. It's been amazing. I think there's like 4 or 5 more teams waiting to join this week. We're up to about 80 teams now. So if you haven't joined already, right? Romeo Golf X-Ray 3 X-Ray uniform. It's on the Premier League app. Yeah, man. I thought I was being all bold. I got the buzz on Friday afternoon. I was like, yeah, it's going to be fucking great. Brought in Wilson, dropped Haaland. I thought, Haaland, give him a game to get settled in. So I have the money to bring Haaland back in. I think, Salah playing away. Took the armband off him, give it to Wilson. I'm like, fucking, let's go. Differential. Yeah, massively backfired.
And I've toyed between like 3 things really. Zinchenko, didn't pick him. Martinelli, picked ASM instead of Martinelli.
I didn't pick Martinelli.
And I have Martinelli in my team as well. I also had James Ward-Prowse up until like 2 days beforehand as well, and I took him out. But he'll not score that many points, I don't think. But yeah, he got 9 points on the weekend. And the big one is, I was like, Kane, Haaland. Go with the bank. I know what Kane's good. I know what Kane's capable of.
Yeah. It must be the only Tottenham game where they scored 4 goals. And what was he doing? Was he in goal or something?
Fucking Son, pass the ball to him. Like if people complain about Maxi not squaring on his first touch at Almiron, the Son with 9 touches in the box, run across like Kane's like stood on the goal line, pass to me. But I was Haaland.
Funny game.
Have you put Haaland in? Have you?
Oh yeah, I was so angry. Like not only I waited till like Friday for my transfers in case like anyone gets injured in training. I was like so angry, like, you straight out, you like sub's already done.
Haaland took his pen as his pen was at the net. I was like, Kane, you're out, son. I was always my plan was always to do this. My plan was to have
I get it wrong.
No, my plan was to, even when I was going Kane, I was always going to go, unless Kane had a hat-trick or something, I was going to go back to, I was going to Haaland, because they've got 2 good fixtures, haven't they?
Yeah.
And I was so tempted to try and bring somebody out like the Kulusevski as well, but I'm not going to do it. Can't do like, no, not taking a -4 hit.
So, if anyone has joined, we haven't actually deleted the league as much as I feel like it. But yeah, if you haven't joined, we do massively appreciate it's being classed, and we'll talk a bit more as we get stuck into it.
Yeah.
But after our current performance, I don't think we can sit here giving advice and tips on what to do. So
just got to stay in the run early doors.
That's it. Yeah. I'm hoping half the team will lose interest, so at least we don't finish in the bottom half. But yeah, anything else, mate? Is that it for the week?
That's it, mate.
So Brighton happening on Saturday, 2 wins from 2, solid start for Newcastle, absolutely class.
Dan Ashworth giving it that. Yeah. Give it the finger to all the Brighton lot.
That's it. Yeah,
shirt off, knee sliding.
That's it. He's going to be coming in the front of the buses and he waving the Newcastle flag as we drive into
I want
town.
to see Dan Ashworth giving it the Mourinho slide across the touchline.
I think he's a bit of a different character though, isn't he? Yeah. Right, thank you very much for downloading, thanks for subscribing. If you haven't already, get us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, NUFC Talk Pod, Glenn _NUFC and Yanis NUFC.
Yeah.
If you're on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a review. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you've subscribed, liked the video, and left a comment. Cheers, and we'll see you all next week.